Hello, you're watching Saints Live with me, Kenzie Benali.
And me, Steve Forbes.
Well, a very warm welcome back to St Mary's Stadium for the first home game of the season. Now, of course, the Whites have made the long journey down south. They'll be looking to make it 2 from 2, whilst Southampton will be looking to bag their first win of the campaign. And Steve, it's a hot one.
It's a hot one. A warm welcome indeed here on Saints Live. A scorcher at St Mary's. I certainly wouldn't like to be running around in that. We're talking about low 30 degrees around kick-off. But two people joining us from the comforts of their cool homes, former Saints captain Dean Hammond and former chief sports writer for the Southern Daily Echo, Adam Leach. Adam, it's been a while. How's your summer been?
Yeah, it's good, Steve, and it's really refreshing to know something's never changed. You two moaning about the weather conditions. It's too hot, it's too cold. My God. It's like we've never been away.
Indeed. Yeah, as you self-described it, a pair of comfy old slippers on today's show. And Dean, you're an ex-Premier League footballer. I'm sure you've got aircon.
I wish, Steve. No, unfortunately not. No fan either, so yeah, I'm trying to stay as cool as possible, mate. Trying to stay, yeah.
Good
Not
stuff.
get too hot, put it that way.
Good stuff. Well, we've got some team news coming up in about 15 minutes' time. What we know so far is that Lianco is a bit of a doubt, a recent doubt, and that Tino Livramento is a long-term absentee for the game.
Well, Adam, yes, welcome back. So lovely to have you back with us. We'll come to you first. Team news there from Steve. How do you think Saints will line up today?
Oh, I really wish I knew the answer to this, and I wish I had a better answer. But I actually think it's so hard at the moment because I feel like Ralph is a little bit unpredictable at the moment in terms of his selections. There's obviously a bit of a finding your way at the moment with new signings having come in. There's quite a big squad change that's happened over the summer, and he's obviously kind of experimenting still. I think it feels like pre-season is almost still ongoing as we get into the campaign, so I don't think he's completely settled yet. And the big question on everybody's lips is the formation, really. If I'm honest, at the end of last season I wouldn't have believed that we'd be starting this season playing with a back three, back five, however you want to look at it. I thought Ralph would kind of draft in the players that are required to stick with his favoured 4-2-2-2, which is obviously the sort of playbook, if you like, that runs throughout the club. I'm very surprised that he's been determined to drive this through. But I think after last week, they played a very, very good Tottenham team. So I'm not knocking Saints for losing that game, but I think a bit of the manner of some of the defending has probably left Ralph wondering whether actually that is the right formation or not. But maybe he's in a bit too deep to jump out this quickly. So I think that's what decides it. If it was me, I would be 4-2-2-2, but I kind of think he'll stick with the three, and then you've got to make some changes for sure. And I think in particular up front, you've got to make sure that you've got somebody really leading the lineup there, because it was a bit of a mess up there, I felt, last week, especially as the game progressed. They sort of lacked a presence and a leader at the top. So yeah, as I said, I'd love to know. I'm looking forward to hearing the team news myself, but I think it's quite unpredictable right now.
Do you expect any changes today, Dean? As Adam said, maybe a change in formation. We saw that 3-5-2 at Spurs, or do you think Ralph may revert to that 4-2-2-2 that he used so much last season?
I agree with Adam, to be honest, Steve. I think it's a little bit unpredictable at the moment, and you probably could expect that with the amount of new players coming into the club and the squad. The manager will still be understanding what his best team is. I think the formation will stay the same, just for the fact that they worked so hard on it in pre-season, and it looks like the manager wants to go that way. He talked about having that extra stability within the team defensively. I think he wants to try and have more clean sheets and give the Southampton a better chance of winning games and not have to score 2 or 3 goals to win a game, to be able to win games 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. And I think this formation gives him a better chance of doing that. I would probably revert back to the 4-2-2-2, if I'm honest, especially at home, just because of the players and the personnel within the squad, and they're a fit group. They look better when they take the game to the opposition, when they press the opposition and kind of back themselves to win the game, especially at home. So I think there will be changes, just for the fact that There's a lot of competition within the squad, and like I'll repeat myself, the manager will be trying to find his best team, and that will come probably for the next 2, 3, 4 games of seeing some variety within the selection. So what it will be, I'm not too sure. Will Pero come back in at left back? That will be interesting to see because it does give that balance. Even though Gineppo's actually done okay in that position, even though it's not his natural position. Will Stuart Armstrong come back into the team? Will Shay Adams come back in? Will Jack Stevens come back in after coming on at half-time against Tottenham? So there's lots of options for the manager, which will give him a headache. But I think he'll be like any game, he'll be determined to win this game. But I think this game's even more important because it's the first home game of the season. And I think if Southampton are going to have a successful season and achieve the goals they want to achieve, then home form is really, really important. So there is some importance on this game. So it will be interesting to see, like Adam said, but to name the team, yeah, I wouldn't know at this point.
Yeah, it's tricky. Big ask, isn't it? Well, we'll be bringing you that team news in under 10 minutes' time now. But for now, Adam, let's briefly cast our minds back to last weekend. Obviously, a disappointing result overall, but a decent goal to give Saints the lead. Could you talk us through that one?
Yeah, it was a good goal. I think here you really see the advantage of playing Gineppo kind of in that position, in that sort of left-sided wing-back position, in that obviously his real natural position is an out-and-out attacking winger. And so therefore the sort of attacking threat you get from him is obviously huge. The flip side of that is he defensively minded enough? Is he defensively good enough to hold down that position at the level at which he's playing? But you can see the benefits there. And I guess the other real positive about that is we've long said, really, like Prowse, obviously the leader of the team, we all know that, the captain, and the talent, kind of the talisman now as well. But the one criticism, if you have any of him, is that he needs to add a few more goals from open play over the course of the season. His obviously set piece goals are fantastic, but to really become that top all-round midfielder that we all believe he can be, and kind of really threaten to be a regular in the England team, he needs to add that. And I think you really saw that determination from him there to get himself into that position. And the finish, I've heard other people say, is sort of a bit Lampard-esque in kind of the way he actually finishes that chance. And that's kind of the sort of player that he's sort of on his way to emulating in it to a degree in terms of his style and the way he's playing. So, yeah, good and a great start for him as well, because you need Prowse on the top of his game, and you need him confident and really contributing for this team to tick. So, yeah, that was a very positive start to the game.
Sticking with the midfield, Romeo Lavia was arguably the standout performer for Southampton. Dean, what did you make of his first ever game in the Premier League?
Excellent, Steve. We commented it after the game against Tottenham. I thought he was very, very good, really composed and calm in possession. Awareness was very, very good. A variety of passing, like we see, longer passing, shorter passing. What I liked was that he was attempting to play forward as much as he possibly could to break the line of the opposition, to start those attacks or counter-attacks for Southampton. Disciplined in his performance as well defensively, spotted danger, whether that was an interception, whether that was tracking a runner. I was very, very impressed, but just more with his mentality, really. He seemed to really suit the level. He seemed as though he'd been playing at this level for a number of years, was very, very comfortable against a good Tottenham midfield and a good Tottenham attack, really. So it was very, very impressive with his performance, and he looked really confident as well, and strong physically, because I think that can always be the biggest surprise to players coming into the Premier League, what it is like physically, not just the amount of work you get through, but your body strength, the strength in your legs that you'll need to get through 90 minutes. And I thought he performed really, really well. You see his tackle there on Basuma, very, very brave, on the front foot, wins the ball. So he had a very, very good performance, and I would expect him to play again today, especially if the manager stays with the 3-5-2. I think it suits him just sitting in front of the back four, where he can get him on the ball early. He can start counter-attacks or attacks for Southampton, and very, very aware defensively. So very impressive for his first appearance for Southampton, his first appearance in the Premier League against a really good Tottenham team. So yeah, if he can keep those standards, it's going to turn into a very, very good player.
Well, Ralph was asked about Romeo Lavia in his latest press conference and also our other new signings.
Last night about not wanting to throw Romeo Lavia into the team if it was a 4-2-2-2, because you said that kind of could be a bit overwhelming for him with all the different things going on, and instead the 3-5-2 was maybe a little bit more suited to him because he kind of adapt to it. Is that the same for players like Armel Bella-Kotchap and Sekou Mara, or is it different for Romeo because he's in the midfield and right in the middle of the pitch?
Yeah, for Romeo it was, I think, very important that he plays a holding six, because this is a position he always played in his career so far. And for the first game away against Tottenham, I think you have to not make it so easy as possible for him, but help him a little bit in finding a position where he feels comfortable in. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't need to develop his game, and being also in a 4-2-2 as a double six an option for us. And this takes time a little bit, but we have worked this week also in this way, and I think like for all the other players, Sekou Mara you spoke about is also important, because the behaviors of the strikers is a different than in a lot of other clubs. I mean, there's not a big secret that our game starts when we don't have the ball, and that means that you have to start the pressing in the right moment, that you have to be online when the ball is not with you. So, and this is something that players have to learn, and the quicker they learn it, the quicker they're an option for me.
There we go, some comments from Ralph there. Now Adam, with Romeo Lavia coming in to the side, we've seen Oriol Romeu play higher up the field. What are the benefits of him being in that position?
Well, it's a bit of a difficult one in a way, Steve, I think, because it's not actually where I really want to see Oriol playing. There are benefits, like if you want to be a high pressing team, then you get a press on and a ball winner very high up the pitch, and we can see from some of his moments at Tottenham what he offers you is that high press. He's straight in the faces, but there's no chance for a centre half to play out easy from the back, or just to knock the ball into a deep lying central midfielder and for them to sort of turn around and have a bit of time to decide how they're going to build the play from there. He'll be right in your face. However, I think the difficulty is for Saints, that is just not really his natural position. And you don't want to get into the habit of just shoehorning what you think are your best players in and putting square pegs in round holes. For me, I think you pick the best player for each position that you've got, rather than pick your best players and then try and force them into positions. And if you've got Lavia and you've got Ward-Prowse and they become your first choice two in front of the back four, well, then it's Oriol who has to sit out, as unfortunate as that is for him. I think that's just how it has to be. But that's also squad competition as well. It keeps both of those players on their toes. And the reality of a long season is you're going to need three players for that position. The chances of the two of them staying fit the whole season are very, very slim. So I think that's good competition. But I'm loath to see him further up the pitch, because I think, frankly, as good as Oriol is, in that position, there are better options in the Saints squad that add more to the team in an attacking sense. So I think that's a change really that Ralph really has to make.
Well, we will be bringing you the team news in under 2 minutes time now, and whilst we wait for that to come in hot off the press, let's take a look at what the fans are saying watching along at home. We've got this comment here from Jeff. Hello, lovely to have your company. He says, wishing you luck from North Wiltshire before heading off to sing my heart out from Kingsland North. We look forward to seeing here at St Mary's. Sean Kelly is with us as well. He says, come on you Saints. Mitchell Todd, hello to you. He says, another 2 a.m. kickoff. He's watching all the way from New Zealand. Let's hope for all 3 points today. Thank you ever so much for setting that early alarm, especially for us. Michael also joining us. He's going for a 2-1 win to Southampton this afternoon. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Leona, hello. She says, come on you red and whites. Raymond also joining us on the live stream. Great to see you. Let's cheer them on. Encouragement we will all benefit from. And a 3-1 prediction from Lily May Baker. Mayford. Always great to hear from the fans, so do continue to keep those coming into us. But for the meantime, we can bring you the team news. So let's take you through that now then. Quite a few changes to look at and discuss. In goal, it's Gavin Bazunu. The back three is made up of Mohamed Salisu, Jan Bednarek and Armel Bella Kotchap, who replaces Jan Valery. The wing backs are unchanged, Carl Walker-Peters and Musa Gineppo. Then it's Romeo Lavia, our captain, James Ward-Prowse, Moy Elianusi, Stuart Armstrong, and the Shay Adams comes into the attack. The Saints substitutes are as follows: Alex McCarthy, Lianco Jan Valery, Jack Stevens, Oriol Romeu, Ibrahima Diallo, Joe Aribo, Sekou Mara and Adam Armstrong. So Dean, let's come to you first then. Bella Kotchap making his Saints and Premier League debut today.
Yes, brilliant for him. Be exciting to see him play. Saw him play pre-season against Monaco. Physically looks very, very strong. Very, very quick across the ground. And looks like he can give good balance in that three at the back, where he can be very, very aggressive. Salisu the other side be very, very aggressive, and Bednarek kind of just sweep up behind to give that protection. So in theory, it works very, very well. A strong team. Good to see Shay Adams back in the team. Like Adam mentioned, someone who's got that experience to lead the line, that physical presence to either hold the ball up and protect the ball, or run in behind to make those runs, and who can score goals at this level as well, and has proven that he can score goals at this level. So, and it will be interesting to see where Stuart Armstrong plays and where Elianusi plays. Which one plays further forward? Will there be some rotation in that midfield? James Ward-Prowse, will he have the flexibility to get even further forward? Again, like Adam mentioned, can he bring more goals to his game this season? Started brilliantly with that fantastic goal against Tottenham. So a strong team. So it's a strong team on paper. I'd like to see them be really, really aggressive and get after Leeds and try and press the ball and play high up the pitch and condense the pitch. And when they've got the ball, make the pitch really, really big. Get the flair players in those one-on-one situations to create opportunities and score goals. So you're looking forward to seeing this team play.
Adam, you said pre-team news that you get the feeling Ralph is still experimenting with this team. What do you make of today's starting 11?
Yeah, I feel that's the case. I feel, like I said, this is sort of the competitive end of pre-season, if you like, as well as it with so many new signings. But I think, like Dina, I think some sensible changes today. I was particularly, obviously there were defensive problems, but I was particularly concerned up front, to be honest. But I think bringing Che Adams back is absolutely the right thing to do. He is the person who you've got in your squad right now who can lead this line, who's physically strong, he's capable, we know he can score goals. He's absolutely the player you need right now. And I know we're talking about a different formation, so potentially a slightly different role, but Saints, in my view, are always better for having Stuart Armstrong in the team than on the bench. And so I'm really pleased to see him playing. As Dean said, it'll be really interesting to see how high up the pitch he actually plays, or if there's a lot of fluidity and a lot of rotation. And I agree with Dean, but I think it'd be interesting how Saints approach this today, because I think their best chance is to be aggressive, as Dean said, be really high tempo, high energy pressing game that they're so good at. But with the temperatures today, will Ralph send them out to actually do that and risk kind of blowing their matches, but a bit quickly, or will he opt for a more patient possession game? I think that they probably should go for it. With the extra substitutions this year, if you need to make changes, you make the changes. But it'll be an interesting balance to see what Ralph does with this team today.
Yeah, several changes in Ralph's side for this afternoon, so it will be exciting to see how they fare against Leeds. But if there's one person who knows what it's like to face Leeds on the opening day of this season, it's you, Dean Hammond. A memorable day back in 2011, and possibly your finest goal in a Southampton shirt.
I'm still in shock, Steve, to be honest, to score with my left foot. So, yeah, no, it was a memorable day, like you say, against Leeds. One of the favourites, I think they were for promotion. Strong team on the day. So it was a good test for us. We'd had a good pre-season, so we were fit. And, again, why I'm shooting from that distance with my left foot, I'm not too sure. But luckily for me, it went in because Adam Lallana, I actually stole the ball off Adam at the beginning of that. I think Gooley was actually trying to pass the ball to him. I stole it from him, drove through the middle of the park, and the reverse pass to Adam was was on, really, and probably should have passed it to him. But yeah, look, it was a memorable day. We played very, very well. It was something that we spoke about in pre-season, to try and get off to a good start, to try and prove ourselves at this level after promotion. And you could see the reaction from the players, from the fans. It just kind of settled the nerves a little bit, if I'm honest, and settled a few doubts within our minds that whether we would be good enough for this level. We believed we were, but we were playing against a very strong team. I think it was a full house at St Mary's. So yeah, I enjoyed that goal, and probably my finest, Steve, I must admit. But let's be honest, there's not too many to choose from. So yeah, it was an enjoyable strike, and like I say, it was always good to celebrate in front of the Southampton fans and with the players, and we went on to put a really good performance, and that kind of started the route and the journey to the promotion that year. So yeah, still brings a smile to my face, mate. So yeah, thank you for playing that again.
You're welcome.
A nice moment to relive. And of course, I've no doubt, Dean, that Adam was already writing goal on his match report as soon as he saw you lining up to take that shot from 25 yards out. Of course, he's nodding away there. But it was a great day, Adam, wasn't it? 3-1 win for the Saints, and 3 really quality goals as well.
That's right, Kenzie. I think the first thing I typed was hit and hope. Not really, Dean. I thought you were getting too much praise there. Sorry. No, it was a great goal. No, they were high quality goals. It was interesting to hear what Dean said there about the team feeling like they needed to prove themselves, because I think I don't think any of us who were following that team thought they would struggle at all in the Championship, but I don't think any of us really went into that season imagining they'd have the kind of year that they did, and there would be a promotion at the end of it. And I don't think any of us really expected that. I think we all thought, it's almost a year to stabilise. If you can have they're a good team, they'll do well, but if you can have a year where you kind of get to the playoffs or something like that, and then you really push hard for that Premier League in season 2, that would be great. So yeah, I mean, but this really was like they started on the front foot, and that was really like the catalyst, because kind of they were a team, I think Dean would probably agree, that kind of once they stomped on somebody's throat, they kind of kept their foot there, and that's what this team was very good at. And yeah, this was absolutely starting the season in the way that you would hope to start it, and kind of in a way a catalyst for everything that was to come, and the goals in a way sort of typified the sort of swagger that Saints played with throughout those years when they were getting those promotions. Some high quality football, some great goals, and relatively swashbuckling along the way. So yeah, it was great. And of course, a great goal from Dean, most importantly.
Yeah, well, 11 years on, unfortunately we can't get Dean Hammond on today. But what about Leeds now, Dean? What do you think their qualities are, and what position do you think they're going to finish in towards the end of the season?
I mean, a good question in terms of what their aims are, where they can finish. Obviously survived last season with the scare of relegation, change of manager, change of approach. But if you look at from since the new manager's come in, if you look at the start of the season with a 2-1 win over Wolves, high energy, will look to win the ball back very, very quickly. So a fit team. They've got some exciting players. Bamford's come back after long injuries last year and is an important player to them. Got an assist against Wolves and almost scored with a header as well. So he's a dangerous player who can score goals at this level, which I think Leeds really missed last year. Harrison is a good player that comes in, starts wide but comes centrally. Has got good pace, likes to dribble the ball and can score spectacular goals. So they've got some exciting players, but they look like a team that now fully understands what the manager wants. They're only one game in, but they look reasonably impressive against Wolves. Didn't concede too many chances. But what I liked about them from watching the highlights, they don't always look for the simple pass. I think the manager encourages them to try passes, to try and be creative and play through the centre of the pitch and not always go for that safe pass wide. So that they're a dangerous team. They'll be confident today because they've started the season well. They'll fancy their chances coming to St Mary's. So yeah, it will be a good game today, a competitive game. Two teams that will be looking to win really. Southampton will be looking for a response, and Leeds will be looking to continue the good form after the opening day victory. So a good test for Southampton today, and this is no pushover from Leeds. I know they've not made any major signings in the summer, but they look like they've invested well again, and they've kept hold of a few players. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see today.
Yeah, as you say, Dean, should be in for a competitive encounter, and the fans are feeling optimistic, getting in touch with us on Saints Live. Some really nice score lines coming into us. Score predictions: Josh Jocelyn is going for a 3-2 Saints win. Timothy Island is saying 3-1 to Southampton this afternoon. A lot of you saying Southampton will bag 3 today. Saw a comment as well from Stephen. He thinks it will be 3-1, and he's going for a Prowsey to score a free kick as well. Now, Adam, since we were promoted back to the top flight in 2012, with all this optimism kicking about, we still have to acknowledge that we haven't actually won a first home game of the Premier League season since then. What do you put that down to?
Oh, I mean, it's so hard to say. I mean, because all the games are so individual. But the weird thing is, all the games are so individual when you look at them, but that it's hard to come up with anything. But if you were looking, purely at statistical data from an analytical point of view, you'd say it without doubt it's a trend that exists there. So there must be a reason. But I mean, there's been different players, different managers. They played a huge variety of different teams. They've been going into seasons confident. They're going into seasons less confident. I mean, who's to say, really? I mean, it's almost impossible to put your finger on. The difficulty is of always losing your first game, or so it feels, is that you're then under pressure in game 2. And it's kind of what Dean's alluding to there in a way. Leeds come now today, for example, after their opening day, and they can look at this and go, okay, this is a great chance. We're not going to win many away games. We've got a chance here. Saints are going to be feeling a little bit of pressure. They feel like they probably need to win this one. We've got, if we can not concede early, we've probably got a chance against this lot. Or at worst, if we go away with a point to add to how we started the season, yeah, we're doing really well. That's a good result. Whereas Saints are looking at this thinking, definitely can't lose. Points not really enough. Probably need to win this one now, having lost on the opening day. So it always has that little drip effect, I think, mentally on the players, that it just increases that pressure early in the season. As whereas if you can, especially if you're away from home, if you can get anything on the opening day, then that first home game feels much more like a kind of free hit than it does, for example, for Saints today. So it's hard to know why it's happened, but I think the upshot of it just does make life a little bit more difficult. And on a day like today, when it feels like from the outside you've got a winnable game, second up, you don't want to go into your third game with 0 or only 1 point on the board. So yeah, it just increases the pressure for Saints. I think that's something they'll be quite aware of today.
Just a quick word on the heat today, Dean. It's due to be in the low 30s at kickoff. Just how will the conditions impact the match?
Well, it will impact it, Steve, definitely. When it will impact it, I'm not too sure. Will the game slow down towards the end? And if you look at it, Adam actually made a really, really good point. The manager may be being really clever here, where he's you could almost say put an extra midfield player into the team. And it may be today that there may be periods of keeping possession of the ball and kind of just sharing it around the pitch and slowing the game down in periods. Obviously, that's easy to do if you're winning and you're not trying to chase the game. Again, the shape, if you play the 4-2-2-2 shape, that's Southampton, high pressing, high energy. Is that possible today? Maybe not. So again, going to the 3-5-2 is maybe keeping the 3-5-2 is maybe a sensible decision. But it will have an impact. It really, really will. It'll affect you. You'll become dehydrated quicker. I'm sure there'll be drink breaks at some period. And it's always about that. If there's a player gone down injured, go and get some water. Just take that break, because it's really, really important. But I think it's man management of the game and understanding the game, that if Southampton are winning today, can we have moments of possession? Can we, if we've counter-attacked, can we come back out and go back to the keeper? Now, I know that's not the most effective thing and not what the fans want to see all the time. They want to see goals, crosses, action. But it just wears Leeds out, the opposition out, that if you come back, they have to retreat, they have to recover, then have to get their shape, and you just keep the ball moving, and then maybe an opportunity will open up later because the opposition are a little bit more tired. So it would have an impact on the game today.
Yeah, Yeah, it's certainly a warm one, isn't it? So everyone, do take care, and obviously the players will be very mindful of that as well, won't they? Now, Adam, it is that time of the show when we come to you for your score predictions. We know you've missed this. It always gets a bit competitive, doesn't it? What are you thinking today? How do you see this one playing out?
It's always competitive, Kenzie. As you know, even on our group WhatsApp, it doesn't stop. Well, I think to be honest, Dean summed up my thoughts on the game pretty well. To be fair, but I think it's an important game for Saints today. It's an important game for Ralph as well. I feel today. There's the way that last season finished, and coming into this season and getting a relatively heavy defeat on the first day, albeit to a very good team. I feel like, there's a little bit of pressure on Ralph that's just starting. You can just start to sense it now around the place. And I think he's obviously made a bold move with this formation change. He's making some fairly bold team decisions, including in-game changes as well at the moment. So I think he needs things to work for him, because he needs to prove, especially in front of his own fans, that he's kind of still got control of the wheel, if you like. I think it's an important game, but I actually think Saints, this is a game that Saints might well nick today. As Dean said, I can see it being close. I don't think this is probably a runaway win for either team here, and I don't think either of them would probably expect it. But I think Saints, maybe they've got the quality. I'm glad to see Che Adams leading the line again. I think that's a really important move from Ralph, and I think I'll go for a 2-1 Saints win today.
All right, Dean, don't give us the old I was going to say that one. It's time to come to you next for your thoughts. It always feels a bit strange, doesn't it, talking about the word pressure this early on in the season, but it does actually have that feel about it, because as we've mentioned already, you don't want to be heading into that third game with just 1 point or indeed no points. So with that in mind, Dean, what do you think the scoreline will be today?
Well, I think you're right, Kenzie. There's pressure on every game, but it does feel like there's a little bit more pressure on today, just because, like Adam touched on, the way the team finished last season, and you always want to start well, especially, I've mentioned it, especially at home. And if you can put on a good performance today in front of the home fans, you kind of bring the spirit up of the club, of the area, of the city, and it's really, really important. So I'm going to go for an optimistic 3-1 today. I think we've just seen a game where we won 3-1 on the opening day of the season against Leeds, so I'm going to go for 3-1 to Southampton today. And a couple of goals from set pieces as well. I think we're a big team, we're a physical team. I don't think Leeds are. So the players we've got with the team, with the delivery of James Ward-Prowse, I'm going to go for a couple of goals from set pieces. So 3-1 to Saints today.
Great stuff. Well, the pressure's now off you guys. You've done a stellar job on Saints Live this afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, 45 minutes to go until kick-off. Southampton will be looking for their first Premier League points of the season against Leeds here at St Mary's on a sunny but incredibly warm afternoon. Make sure you join us all again on the final whistle, where we'll have Dean and Adam providing their reaction and analysis. Enjoy the match, and we'll see you then.
Bye for now.